All right, we up here live. We are rolling. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. First and foremost, anybody come up here and watch your boy, I appreciate you for being present. We about to go ahead and break down a little bit of this, a little bit of that. First and foremost, let's go ahead and give it a breakdown of what's going on in Bitcoin. And also, if you missed the recording or you got to jump out during the recording, hold on, reload, jump out during the recording, it's going to be posted on YouTube. That way you can always go back and you can always get locked in. You ain't got to miss nothing. But let's go ahead and get this thing started soon after we reload this thing. All right, so of course, we talking about crypto, y'all. We talking about how to make some money up in these markets, and so far, we're still within the bull market structure of crypto in general. And pretty much what that was based of is just making a low, a high, a higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, and you just keep that trend going until eventually you change market structure. We have yet to change a macro market structure. So there's nothing really to be worried about as far as whether or not we're going to continue to go higher. Now, how much further higher we're going to go, that is up to debate. But that's okay. That is okay because the fun time is here. Alt season is pretty much here, and I'm going to break down just about everything I can, explaining you why it is that the money is about to start rotating from Bitcoin down the ladder to all your smaller coins. So it's gonna be a cool little video, very informative. First and foremost, I have two indicators up here. The first one I have, I'm gonna bring this down for y'all. Y'all can see I got the MA cloud. You can't get access to the MA cloud unless you're a part of the BB Terminal Access membership. So I'm a little lucky on that part, pay my dues. But that in the 400-day moving average, just telling you the moving average of crypto every 400 days, pretty much how it's flowing. Very, very, very simple with these two. You can see right here, boom, a moment where we cross below the price. I'm talking about right here. When price crosses below both of these lines during this moment, it's signaling that we're in a bear market. So far, we've been above both of them non-stop, and we crossed above both of them all the way back right here in 2023. So we're pretty nice and keen for. Hey, finish drawing what I was drawing. We're pretty nice in a nice little area of just continuing this bull run until noted otherwise. We ain't seen no shift in market structure change yet, so we're gonna keep making money while the money's here to be made. That's pretty much the base of what you really need to know. But why is alt season here and exactly how it is that alt season is about to affect everybody who's positioned for it? Let's go ahead and get into it. First and foremost, you see Bitcoin is already ramping. That's cool. We want Bitcoin to ramp first. You always want your alpha to go first, and then you go down the curve, and then the second person goes. Like the strongest person in the classroom, you want him to fight the strongest person. Like you want him to go first, right? Boom. That way, next person up, boom, it just be a little easier for him. Say you gotta beat one bully, and it's 10 of y'all. You're gonna let the strongest person go first. He might get beat up. It's cool. Get worn out. On to the next. Now it's easier for them to make progress. And they keep continuously going. Once you wear out the market and wear the market out, all these smaller coins, it's a lot easier for them to make progress towards the big bully, which is these market makers. Because we all trying to make some money, you know what I mean? And they trying to keep money out of your hands. So pretty much when it comes to crypto and Bitcoin, right? Let's get these out the way. Let's get these out the way. I was wondering. I ain't mean to take that off. No. Yeah, give me my MA line back. Keep the moving average. So right now, Bitcoin's been ramping. Let's go ahead and switch over to the second in charge. Matter of fact, what we're gonna do, we're gonna add it to the bottom. We're gonna add it to the bottom. And I like doing everything live at this point, That way you can see how it is I'm drawing up here and everything, and it can be real smooth, learn a little something, something. So we're gonna put it on the new pane down at the bottom. Close this out. So put this on log mode. Bang, bang. So where are we right now with Bitcoin? Well, when it comes to Bitcoin, we've already crossed past the all-time high, right? We've already crossed that marker. All right, bam. We passed the all-time high right here. Then we shot up, came back for a retest, and now we're on our next leg up. Meanwhile, Ethereum, which is second in line, hasn't done yet there. Ethereum is right there at its all-time high. It's about to do the exact same thing. See this little pause that Bitcoin had where it went up, crossed it, came back down for a little second, and then explode up? Yeah, that's what we're gearing up for right here. That's what we're gearing up for. And that's going to continue. So Bitcoin leads, it breaks its all-time high, and then Ethereum comes and breaks its all-time high. After that, what you'll see is a bunch of other smaller caps. Well, we're going to start the large caps first, but smaller than Ethereum. They're going to break their all-time highs. Everything's going to start to descend. And then after that, money's going to continue to roll down the curve, and it's going to hit your meme coin sectors and micro cap coins, which is going to be amazing, especially when you calculate all the multiples that you can be getting with all this free money that's pretty much sitting right here in your face. So we already know that Bitcoin broke its all-time high, came back for a retest, which is pretty much signaling the entire market. As you can see, Ethereum was all the way down here away from its all-time high. It's signaling to the entire market that we held structure. This is bullish. We're about to go ahead and lift off. And as soon as it did that, a lot of money rotated into something that was a little bit more riskier because Bitcoin gave that confirmation. So Ethereum ramped up. Boom. Now we right here at our all-time highs, and we have other coins as such as like XRP, for example, which is in the top 5 of the largest market cap altcoins. I think it's running kind of slow right now. I think it's because I got the kids on my game and stuff up in there watching TV. But you can even see like XRP is also sitting right here under its all-time high. It already passed the all-time, the most recent high of 2021 cycle. We blew past that, held it at support right here, and now we're reaching towards this 2018 all-time high. And once we actually catapult past that, we will be making our reach all the way up here to about $15 towards the 1618. There's a little price prediction right there where I'm pretty much predicting it to go. That's where I see it going. $15 for XRP for this cycle, just starting off. We could blow a little higher, but who cares? Who cares? Same thing with Solana. Sitting right here by our all-time high on Solana. Not too far off. Again, within the top 10, micro cap wise in all of crypto, we're not that far off of it. So you can see Bitcoin leads, Ethereum is the one that's like right there next to Bitcoin, and everything else catches up really, really fast. It's going to be really, really fun watching all this stuff take off. Trust and believe. Now, that's pretty much signaling to you alt season is coming. But here goes an even more technical side of it, right? On the more technical side, let's look at the total crypto market cap right now and see exactly where we are as a whole in crypto. And it's pretty much, it looks similar to, oh snap, move the thing. It looks similar to Bitcoin, but it's not exactly the same. So like we went past all-time high, then we crashed below it, and then we came back and reclaimed it as demand before we start making new highs. And right now we're just using the old, like the previous highs of January of this year. We're using that as a base to, it was support. It was resistance. Then we flipped it for support. So if it can, be sustainable, which I believe it will be, we're going to use this as a launch pad and continue moving higher in the staircase that Bitcoin is. You know what I mean? Up, down, just staircasing our way up. Staircasing our way up. So that's the total market cap of all of crypto. All of crypto is moving in the up path. It's a lot of money to be made out here. Now, if you want to get a little bit more specific, let's look at the altcoins specifically, which would be your others chart right here, which is, everything other than the top 10. And you can see that we're ramping up the same way Bitcoin did in the staircase-like manner. So low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and we're about to be making our ways up to another higher high towards the previous all-time high of 2021. They're going to be some of the last coins to actually get up there. So that's why you see the higher caps such as Ethereum and Solana and all of them, they're already right here by the their all-time highs. But smaller caps, micro caps, they're not. In fact, they're very, very undervalued. And that's good. It's a good time to be buying into all this stuff. Good time to be buying in all this stuff. Now let's take a quick little look at Bitcoin dominance real quick, right? Let's zoom out. Let's look at it on the weekly. And I already be having a bunch of drawings up here because I almost live on these charts, but we're gonna look at all this stuff fresh, of course. Boom. YouTube. We're gonna look at everything fresh. We're gonna draw it up here fresh. So this is Bitcoin dominance on the weekly. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna add Bitcoin to this as well. And we're gonna add others. Not others dominance, gonna do others. New pane, bang, boom. Get these out of here. Put this on log. Let's put this on log. Give me a little second to massage this stuff on up here for y'all, man. Make it look pretty. Make it look pretty. All right, so what happens when Bitcoin busts past its all-time high? Let's study. Let us study. It's Bitcoin all-time high for that cycle. This is this cycle. All right, let us study. We're gonna also gonna put Ethereum's high right here. Bang. All right, so now I'm gonna put a horizontal line right here signaling Bitcoin's all-time high break, which is like right bang. All right, and we're gonna put that in orange because that's Bitcoin. I'm gonna put another one from right here, and we broke out on the 4th. Boom, awesome. Now we're gonna do one for Ethereum right here. Bang, we're gonna make Ethereum's blue because Ethereum's blue for today. Ethereum has yet to break out yet, so we're not even gonna put that one right there. And the crazy thing about this is that Bitcoin has been so highly accelerated into the cycle because all this institutional buy-ins that is kind of it's just crazy the way all this stuff is on kind of playing out right now. But nonetheless, now let's zoom in just a little bit. We're gonna pay attention to this last cycle right here, right? In Bitcoin dominance. What happened for Bitcoin during its breakout? So you can see as soon as Bitcoin broke out, the dominance soared because a lot of liquidity went into Bitcoin and not into other coins. Because once people see Bitcoin breaking out, they want to chase, they want to FOMO in, they want to chase the hype. So a lot of money flooded into Bitcoin. So the dominance of Bitcoin, if you look at Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto market as a pie chart, Bitcoin dominance is just that percentage of the pie chart or percentage of the graph itself that is consisted of Bitcoin. It is the largest asset in all of crypto. So like during this time when it was at its highest, last cycle, it was 75% of all the money was inside of Bitcoin and not in all these other coins, right? So 75% of that money is within Bitcoin. Now imagine as all that money rotates, once Bitcoin breaks past its high and Ethereum is starting to ramp up to its high, and once Ethereum breaks its high, you see a lot of money flood out of Bitcoin and into other assets. Bitcoin still goes up. Let's make this a little bit more clear right here for y'all. We're gonna do red for one. We're gonna make it a little bit thicker. So Bitcoin goes up a little bit right when it, go past its all-time high, then it crashes because a lot of money floods into everything else. Ethereum ramps up. Well, this ain't Ethereum, this is others. So this is all your meme coins and everything like that. They all shoot up, and that's gains right there. And this is on the average of all of your meme coins or lower micro cap. So on average, at the bare minimum, you could have caught you a 5 to 6x on the bare minimum on almost anything during this time period, Altseason. Whenever Bitcoin breaks its all-time high, it leads into everything else breaking its all-time high, starting at the higher caps, specifically Ethereum, and then it goes to the lower caps right under Ethereum, but they're still within the top 10, 25. and once they start to go parabolic, everything else follows suit. So that's what others actually is. It's everything else under that top 10. So once they go parabolic, then others will go parabolic. And you see Bitcoin was still just rounding out. It was rounding out as this thing was just charging, right? Cool. This is alt season. That's money to get made. Every time Bitcoin drops drastically like that, that's money to be made. Where are we right now within the cycle? Is very, very freaking similar. We already done ramped up. Once Bitcoin broke past its all-time high, the dominance ramped up, boom, and now what we're looking for is a major sell-off, which we're already like in the works of doing so, and it's going to be wonderful. Probably come back down to some areas like right here, boom, 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 because right now, oh snap, it's a little ugly right there, but you get the picture. We falling, yeah, we falling. Right now, Bitcoin is at roughly, let's just say 60% of all of crypto, almost like how high it was right here. It almost got back to that same height, but it just couldn't make it, fell off the curve instead, and all that money is about to start flooding in. Well, about to, you already see it. Ethereum is back at its all-time highs. Solana's about to get to its all-time highs. Everything else is getting the money that's flooding out of Bitcoin. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be beautiful. And your others, microcap, altcoins, all that other stuff is going to fly. We are still very, very undervalued because we haven't even hit our all-time high yet from the last cycle. Very, very undervalued. All right, so let's take this off real quick. Another thing I want to point out when it comes to Bitcoin dominance, and this is very, very important, you can see at this time point, at this exact time point, that's when we fell below our MA cloud and the 400-day moving average. Right here, right when others like just skyrocketed and made a new all-time high. That's when we was falling below right here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna circle this out, right? Fine. Let's move this thing just a little bit, and we're gonna make it red. So that's pretty much what happened during that time point. Right now, exactly the same thing. We literally just fell below the MA cloud and the 400-day moving average. So that's another sign of history. History isn't the exact same. It don't repeat. It just rhymes. It's showing you the exact same thing over and over again, and you'll be a fool not to take heed of the warnings of the universe. It's telling you right here in your face what's about to happen. We just lost strength. We're about to crash. All right. So you already know what happens when dominance crashes. All that money from Bitcoin being so dominant in the market, all that money that flows out of Bitcoin goes into altcoins. Cool. Let's have a little bit. Let's do a little bit more. Let's get more technical with it. A little bit more confluence on it. Let's look at the RSI right here, right? And let's look at the MACD at the same time. Let's see if we can find any divergences within the charts. And looky here, we find a big divergence, a huge one. Let me lengthen this up, and the RSI, and I'm gonna show you right here what it is. So you see the RSI right here that's going in a downslope. Honestly, the RSI is the relative strength index, so it's pretty much telling you the strength that's within this project liquidity, like with the liquidity. This is relative at the time. Put it like that, because the price chart, like the dollar denomination of it, doesn't really matter. But the strength behind the liquidity inflow of the charts is really what it's telling you. And so since Bitcoin, like the strength of Bitcoin has been going down, while at the same time Bitcoin has just been chatting up. That's a divergence. That's showing you straight up what's about to happen. If the RSI is going down, but Bitcoin is still chatting up, it's saying that you're losing strength. This is not withstandable anymore. It's not gonna be sustainable, and you're gonna fall through, and it's gonna be like catching the freaking knife. The same way it fell right here, it's like catching the knife. It's just gonna be a bloody scene. The last time something like this happened, as you can see, it's like right here, right? Boom. Now the RSI made a higher high. Yes, it did. It made a higher high the same way Bitcoin did. But the biggest thing is about this, like it's extra extrally exaggerated with the Bitcoin dominance. So it's showing you that you're losing strength, but the chart itself is looking like it's gaining strength. It just has to catch up. That's all. That's all it has to do is catch up. And as you can see, this was nothing but a rollover because it did not make a higher high after that. In fact, it made a lower high. And the same thing with the RSI, it made a lower high as well. And it was already falling beforehand. And it already went down to the whole right here under 30 where it's the oversold area, and the price chart was still pretty high. It didn't make a higher low as of just yet on a macro sense. But once it had that extra stab up and it couldn't withstand it, and everything else played a part, what I was showing you earlier with the Bitcoin and all the others breaking past their all-time highs, it just had to happen. Fall, boom. Same thing is happening right now though. The exact same thing. Like I said, we're just getting a little bit extra technical on what's really going on. What's really going on. All right. So let's see what else we're gonna look at real quick, y'all. This for one, the FOMC meeting. That was one of the major things that's about to be shaking up the markets coming forward. Like the U.S. government's about to start turning on the money printer again. Like the money printer been on, but now it's about to be on like full fledged. Like we just about to start stimulating the market. They done held off for the last couple of years ever since inflation was a major problem at the end of the 2021 cycle. You already know how it is. It hit the economy with all the inflation, but now all that's it's not fixed. Well, I ain't gonna lie to you, say it's fixed, but they feel like it's at least safe enough to go ahead and cut that money printer back on for a little while so they can stimulate and get themselves a little bit richer. This is their game plan. The only thing difference is now is that everybody can learn their game plan, and you got the charts, you got technology now, so we really can you know, the poor ain't gotta be poor no more. We can get rich with them. Is all it is to it is learning, get a little knowledge, and then gain a little wisdom to use that knowledge. That's all we gotta do. But this is what we're looking at right here. So that's about to be a major rotation that we have coming towards us, right? Now that I done set the stage, pretty much showing you that alt season is here, like it's about to snap. Let's let's have a little fun. Let's have a little fun. Let's have a little fun. Let's look at some stuff real quick. Let's look at some of the AI projects. I had put a buy order out on Tau a couple of days ago. Well, a couple weeks ago, because I don't do day trading, I swing trade, I feel like day trading is for gamblers. So we're gonna swing trade all this stuff and have a little fun understanding where let me erase some of these. Let me erase some of these real quick. So I'll just be up here having fun. Keep this one. Yeah, templates, boom. We got the demands on right here. And this is pretty much where I had put the buy order at. This green box. All right. This how smooth it was too. I believe I had made this buy order back in early August. It was back in early August. I knew for a fact that we was gonna come back down after having this massive ramp up, and we had this all this right here open space that we had to come and refill fair value. We came back and refilled it, came back and touched right here at the base of the origin of the move, came back, touched it, bounced off of it, touched it again, bounced off. We started to make a nice little bull flag-ish type of pattern, bull flag-ish. Like I said, it's not like completely like a bull flag, but you see that we had our demand down here at the bottom. It was holding. In fact, this has been holding well all the way back here. I just don't really feel like making the the bar that long because we're only looking at it this little small area. I knew for a fact we was going to come back down in the zone, and we actually did, and we bought all the way down. Look, went a little bit below it, but that's okay. Deviations are okay. I love deviations. That just means I get it cheaper than what I was expecting to get it for. I always keep my bias the same until it's a major break of hold on, yeah, here you go. A major break of market structure. Since we did not make a lower low, if we would have broke this market structure right here, then everything would have been invalidated. But we did not make a major lower low from right here. Instead, we held and we took off and we got back inside this somewhat of a bullish type of pattern. And for what we do from here, we're retesting the MA cloud. And once we kind of break up in here. Might have to come back down for a little bit of, a little bit of something like this, just to retest the areas, come up here to the 400 day, and like start making our ways back up. That's just how the charts moves. You can see it yourself. It's not gonna be a straight line up, but just being a part of the Discord and just understanding where it is I'm coming from with all this stuff, we get up there and talk about all this, man. You can make some money. It's really, really easy. Hold on real quick. Oh yeah, we cooling it. Had to check something real quick. But that's Tau. It's the leading AI coin in all of crypto right now. It's leading the markets. And on a macro sense, some internet moving a little bit slow because the kids and messing with everything. On a macro sense, though, we were trading in a humongous range where we have our mid-range tested. Boom, mid-range. This is your range high. It's your range low. I'll go ahead and mark these out. So you got your range high right here. Boom. Range low. Boom. I'll make the range low in green because, that's a buy zone, if anything. So range high, range low, got your mid-range, bam, mid-range right here, bam. It's respecting this mid-range line. That's the whole point of it. And right now we're trying to recapture it and stay bullish. That's the whole ordeal is what's going on right here. That's why we're trading right here on the mid-range. You see it look like we're bouncing off. We're going under it just a little bit, but hopefully we can spring out of it completely and just keep the uptrend going, because that's what we want. We want to make money. That's what we want. But as you can see right now, everything's still looking bullish on Tau. And since Tau is the leading, it's like the Bitcoin of all AI and crypto. You know what I mean? So whatever Tau does, pretty much all other AI coins within crypto is going to do as well. But it's kind of specific to the blockchain as well. You got to do a little bit of research, a little bit of this and that, or hop on the Discord and ask some questions. We can go over some of this stuff. You know what I mean? But I don't know. What was I just trying to? Oh yeah. Pull up the relative strength index. Yeah, and as you can see, like, we're trying to fight to get above 50, which is pretty much the same thing how I'll explain right here. You got your range high, range low, and then the mid range is whether or not, if you're up here on the top side of the range, it's bullish, bottom side of the range is bearish. I mean, you have a potential. If you fall below the mid range, you have the potential to come back and retest the bottom of the range. If you can hold this mid range, then the next move is to retest the top of the range. So right now, the strength of Tau is actually at a 52 and climbing, so we're recapturing and trying to get back into this bullish area. And as you can see, like, even the lows themselves are on somewhat of an uptrend. There we go. We're on somewhat of an uptrend right now to get to that zone. So as soon as everything gets all clear from Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all that money rolls down the curve, you're gonna see things like Tau, things like Render, which is like one of the top 5, the top 10 AI coins. And a lot of these things are built on Ethereum specifically. So especially since Ethereum's gonna run, they're gonna run extremely hard. Extremely. That's pretty much what we waiting on everything though, y'all. It's gonna be a nice little run. It's gonna be very, very simple, very, very easy if you know how to position yourself. Now I'm gonna go ahead and start dropping the little eggs in there, because I'm gonna show you guys, of course, the best plays meme coin wise, because you want to get the best returns that you can. First and foremost, let's go ahead and look at Dogecoin, because this is alt season, man. Forget all the utility, all this other stuff. Of course, it's always good to have them in your bag. I ain't saying not to get them. You should never go all in on meme coins, but you should always have some meme coins in your bag, because these things run the hardest. Even something like Dogecoin, which is the biggest meme coin, so it's gonna run the the smallest, like percentage wise at least. Even during this time point right here, which was nothing but 130 days, so there's like what, 4.5, almost 5 months. Yeah, it's like 4.5. That's like 4 months. Even within 4 months, you end up 500%. That's a 6x to your money. $1,000 in, you have 6,000 within 5 months, and you didn't even do nothing but sit there and let it, grow. So 10,000 in, you got 60. 100,000 in, you got 600,000. Once you start playing with bigger numbers, you can make bigger plays, and finding these things are like relatively easy, because even at the bottom right here, you can see where Doge was like kind of still trading downwards. We've seen a diversion in the charts right here. On now, this is so annoying. I ain't gonna lie. I gotta move this up just a little bit, just a little bit. You see a divergence right here as the price keeps falling from that exact same low. You can see that the RSI was actually going sideways while price was still falling. That's showing you that we're actually gaining a little bit of strength. And then once you had that higher high right here on the RSI as well, and a higher high on price, which is pretty much showing you a change in market structure, you're just waiting for that high, this high right here to get broken, which did take a while. But the RSI was already climbing for quite a bit. From this point, it was climbing a lot. So it was pretty much signaling by the time we even got that break above this this high right here, there's a little bit of stacked liquidity. As soon as we end up changing and flipping that stacked liquidity, kept on, fall back down, use it as a support. We just took off like crazy because we already had so much strength anyways. Strength build up while price was catching up. So that's why I love using the RSI. It's very subjective though during the time point. You gotta be using context around it. Context matters now because the FOMC meeting is underway and we about to make some freaking money out. Y'all can lock in. But even right now we have the exact same setup, right? The exact same setup that's playing out. The exact same setup is playing out. It is ridiculous on how this stuff does, and it's playing out even larger. As you can see, it's gonna lead to an even bigger move because it's taking longer for it to play out the set. The longer the base, the higher in the space you go. So as you can see from this point right here, boom, you come down to the RSI. Like we was not shooting down that low, right? Like it made a smaller slant down, but it wasn't that massive. And in fact, it made a higher high, a higher low on the RSI while Dogecoin was still falling price chart wise in the US dollar denomination. The strength of the project was growing. And then even after that, as the strength continued to grow, well, the strength is actually still growing. That's the crazy thing. So that was like a small little pump. It's a little test pump, but then it's just building up. It's just building up. But price is now in an uptrend at the same time. So the same way that RSI had to snap and turn into an uptrend, now price is doing the same thing. So if you even measure it from right there, and you can look that we're it had a small little deviation right here, but we're still within the uptrend on the RSI. We started before price did. RSI is giving you a little pre-sense of what's really going on behind doors. That's what you call these divergences. You got to look for them. That way you'll be ahead of the game. That could be an awesome buy zone right there. And it's always so cool to be able to get up here and kind of do like little predictions of where price is going to go. I love using the 1618. You see this fib zone right here from high to the bottom. Got a little respect right here on the mid range. We held the mid range right here, fell below it, came back, used it as resistance. Boom, fell, touched all the way down at the bottom of the range. And then once we capitalized and flipped this liquidity, which was ironically enough also flipping the mid range, we shot up here to the top of the range and then blew past it because we had so much strength in the project that we went all the way up to the 1618. Simple. Simple. It's not as simple when you're like looking at it day by day, but in hindsight, it's common sense. It's common sense. So all you gotta do is learn how to look at this stuff in hindsight. And so what will be our next zone? I would say pretty much the all-time high for Doge. If we want to zoom this out real quick, what's our next zone for up here? The 1618, which is pretty much right here at the all-time high. Say we blow past the all-time high, use it as support, and we make our way, continue going up. That is the next move for Dogecoin. So how many Dogecoins you gotta have to be a millionaire? That's a dumb question. Don't even think about try to calculate no stuff like that. But for a little bit more of a normie mindset, $1,000 into Doge, where would that put you at within the next couple months? Coming up here to the 1618. Well, that's a quick little 330% gains. But like I said, I expect us to turn around, flip the all-time high of 2021, and then use it as a springboard to keep moving forward. But just for that small little trade itself, it's almost like a little 4x to your money. $1,000 turned to 4,000. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's way better than it just sitting in your bank not doing nothing. So you don't even got to play the long term in crypto. You don't have to. If you got good enough to look at it on a smaller time frame, which you could. I don't like looking at smaller time frames because it's always something that can change it. But you can be shooting up like within these lists. Like these moves aren't anything small. Like even if you look at this move right here, that was a 200% gain to your money. This little move right here is a 200% gain in your money, and this happened just within like 2 months, if even that. 200% gain. That's a 3x. This is easy money out here just laying on the table for y'all. Trying to teach you how to get it. Trying to teach you how to get it. Plus, if you go ahead and get into the Discord, I got videos, especially like on my page, where I show you how to make your own MetaMask wallet, how to trade, buy into crypto, move stuff around, use Coinbase to put that money into your MetaMask wallet, and or to transfer it back to your bank account. All the education is there. You need to get in, tap in, learn with me, because it's too much money out here in the world not to be making it. And I just showed y'all that the FOMC meeting is coming up, man. It's coming up. Matter of fact, what day is this coming on? It's coming on the 16th and 17th of this month. And that's when we're going to get a rate cut. And the markets are going to go ballistic. It's going to go ballistic. We're going to get a rate cut while we're already in price discovery with Bitcoin and Ethereum and a lot of higher altcoins, the larger cap altcoins. We're already in price discovery. And like, well, we're going to already be pretty much in price discovery at that point. We're just tiptoeing right there at the all-time highs. So that's Dogecoin. This is your big daddy meme coin, right? Now, the same way we talk about Bitcoin and Ethereum, whatever Dogecoin does to the meme coin space, everything else is going to follow. Like Doge goes up, everything in meme coin culture goes up. Same way I was saying, like with Tau, whatever Tau does, all the other AI coins are going to do. That's the Bitcoin of AI. Well, this is the Bitcoin of meme coins. So just have a little fun. Shiba, right? Everybody knows Shiba, the whole story of Shib, this, that, and the other, blip, blip, blue, blah. Shiba like really went stupid. I gotta erase some of this. I'm always on these charts, man. I swear. Let me erase all of this. Bam. Cause I don't need it. I don't need it. I just want to put it into like a little relative sense of where we are necessarily. Now under Shib, I'm gonna add Dogecoin. Cause I'm gonna show y'all what happened last cycle when Doge finally started running. It was beautiful. It truly was. So I probably should have did this backwards. We're gonna do Dogecoin fully, and then put Shiba at the bottom. That's how we're gonna do it. Cause I can't get all the I gotta get all of the data. And Shiba Inu wasn't like Dogecoin was here longer than Shiba Inu, so it's gonna have more data. No, wrong one. Here we go. Bang, bang, bang. Ooh, get on the technical side real quick. Change the y-axis so it can measure all this stuff a little bit better. It's not the chart that I wanted to use. Is it the Coinbase one? I think it is the Coinbase one. Which one is this one? This one has all the data. And this one is, ladies and gentlemen, it's the same one I just had it on, but it didn't show all the data. Well, you know what? We're gonna go back to it. There we go. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Oh, I guess whenever I do all the extra stuff, it doesn't comply. Whatever. We don't need it to comply. So whenever Dogecoin right here, right, past its previous all time high. This is the 2018 cycle all time high. And Dogecoin had a long ways to get back to its all time high. Bitcoin was already in price discovery, Ethereum was already in price discovery. Dogecoin had to do a whole catch up trade because the money had to fall down the ladder. Now, once Doge went into all-time high and it had its first pullback and people start pulling its money out of Doge, people start rotating into other things such as Shiba Inu. The same way once Bitcoin goes an all-time high and start having a small little pullback, and then once it holds at that support and continue going forward, a lot of that money rotated out of Bitcoin and went into other smaller projects like Ethereum, which is now doing the exact same thing. It just repeats over and over again. It's wash and repeat. That's how you get this money out of here. But as soon as Dogecoin started to take off, boom, you can see Shiba, it took off right afterwards. And it continued to take off after Dogecoin even cooled off a little bit. You can see the first high on Dogecoin was right here. Shiba was still out on the floor. But then like once Doge sold off and kind of curled back up and made a second high, Shiba was like literally right behind it. Right behind it. Like you can see this big green candle on Shiba is a red candle on Doge, showing that money was flowing out of Doge and flooding down the train. And so once Doge start to sell off and everything start to sell off, a lot of that money that flooded out of Doge went into Shiba in a more exaggerated like quantity, and it just like skyrocketed. That's pretty much what we're gonna be looking for when it comes to all these meme coins right here, because they're so low market cap. So low market cap. At first we were talking about Bitcoin, which is a multi-trillion-dollar asset. Ethereum, which is a hundreds of billions-dollar asset. And everything up under that, if not hundreds of billions, is right there underneath it with decabillions dollar assets, which is about as big as some companies out here in the world, but they're just crypto. People don't think it's anything very spectacular, but crypto is, it's that thing, it's the new thing. People gotta get on board with what's going on. I want to put this back on log because it looks ugly like this, and my computer just froze on me. There we go. Come on. All right, so even so, like right here, you see Dogecoin ramping up around the same time. Shiba's doing the exact same thing. Dogecoin ramps up right here. Shiba somewhat does the same thing. It's not as drastic as Dogecoin, which actually made a higher high than what Shiba did, which is healthy because you want your alphas to lead. Because once that money gets made in Dogecoin first and rolls down, Shiba's going to have a nice parabolic move off top, just like how it did back here. It is nothing but just patience. Let's go ahead and roll down the curve, man. Let's get off Shiba, because this whole chart on Shiba was kind of like throwing everything off. I thought it was going to show up a little bit better than that. But let's talk about Pepe right here. Now, this is the for real deal baby. I love the boy club, man. Meta. They've made me a lot of money so far. I'm at a bias. But as you can see, like right here, right? I'm gonna go ahead and mark all this out right here in front of y'all, so you can understand where I'm coming from with this. We're gonna put Ethereum down at the bottom. I posted this on the Discord as well. That's why you gotta tap in, get up in there, get a little bit of this information. Knowing where money is flowing into is important. You gotta know where the flow of money is going. So like right here, I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna make that yellow. Boom. Right. So you see Pepe was going sideways, but for the most part, it was actually kind of like in a down slope the entire time, right? As soon as we broke past that downward slope, and we kind of used it as support, and we skyrocketed up. Now let's look and see what Ethereum was doing at this time. Ethereum boom, was in an uptrend. It made me want to go in there, cut the stuff off on them kids now. It's getting bad. It's getting worse. Catch up. Ethereum was already in the uptrend. Things like Pepe and stuff was doing nothing. In fact, it was somewhat selling off. You can argue that like it was hard to hold it while you watch everything else go up. And then once Ethereum had a small little cool off period, and then it wanted to take it back off again. A lot of that money that rotated out of Ethereum during these cool off periods, people was rotating their money, and the strength of Pepe was growing this entire time. Let's go ahead and look at their RSI real quick. Strength, get this off. You can see the strength of Pepe did not go into the oversold area at all. In fact, it was just trading right here above the 50 line for the longest until this very last minute where it came down, tapped the 30, and then went back into the overbought, which is all the way up here at the top, which also showed a lot of strength within the charts during this time point. Like you can see, RSI was already climbing up, but Pepe was like barely moving in the upside. But RSI made a humongous move to the upside, hit all the way up here to the overbought, came back down to retest the 50. Once it retested 50 and was like, yeah, this strength is like confirmed, is validated, and it went all the way up here to like 90 plus. Yeah, Pepe did a 10x during this time period. You see it right here, like from this lows, from right here. If you just stopped right here, even if you ran it all the way up, it's almost a 16, 18, almost a 20x depending on where you bought in at. It's crazy. Percentage wise, this is ridiculous. So like that's pretty much where we are right now in Pepe. To where Pepe going sideways, arguably selling off because we're making lower highs the entire way, but we're somewhat going sideways because we ain't broke structure or anything yet. We're just looking terrible. Meanwhile, we have Ethereum right here pumping massively hard. Now, how long this is going to take, nobody knows. Nobody knows. If it was up to me, I say take as long as you need because, like I said, the longer the base, the higher in the space. We need Pepe to fly because whatever Pepe does, everything else in the boys' meta is going to do the exact same thing, but just a little bit exaggerated. And I'm all for it. I'm all for it. So as Ethereum was climbing, it had a nice little sell off, then it had its last little blow off top before it, kind of cooled off and was in like a distribution type of phase within the cycle. And that's when all that money that got distributed out of Ethereum was all these other meme coins and they was going ballistic. Pepe got the first move of it, but then other boys club meta, they all start popping off around the height of Ethereum, which is crazy. And they still did not billions, hundreds of millions of dollars in evaluation at the top of the charts. Even when the charts was falling, they were still climbing, which is wonderful. But once Pepe does this next move, which is gonna be pretty similar. Matter of fact, we can just do something a little bit. Let's say it does something similar to it, right? Just for this next markup, does something somewhat similar going into January, and we get all the way up here. Like that's money on the table. You see the setup; it's the exact same thing that's going on. We just need to wait for that one more pullback, which I'm hoping. I'm hoping that we can get it past this the all-time high first, and then come back to use the all-time high as support with Ethereum, and then start moving forward. Because I don't really want to have a pullback under the all-time high as of just like massively. Like we already had a small baby, like little slow down period, but I don't want to have a major pullback just for that money to rotate because it's not going to be a healthy rotation. We want as much money to flood in there as like quickly as possible within a month time span and do a 10x to our money. That's what we want. That's what we need. That's what we deserve. So that's Pepe, right? I done showed you Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, Shiba, rolled down to Pepe. This is nothing but the alpha rolling all that money down to the beta. And I always like to, go on and on about the boys club meta though. Cause like I said, they put the most money in my pocket. Let's look at Wolf, for example. Now we're gonna look at Andy. Just because we're gonna look at Andy first. Just because. Because it has to be understood how long Andy has actually been here. Andy wasn't here during this big run up on Ethereum, and Andy was introduced during Ethereum's downfall. During Ethereum's downfall, so this right here was pretty much that high of that range that we was trading, Andy was introduced at the top of that range, and a lot of that money flooded out of Ethereum and other alpha into Andy, hundreds of millions of dollars worth. And that's where we are right now. And ironically enough, we've pretty much been following the exact same trends of Ethereum as soon as we was introduced to the game. It looks the exact same pretty much. Like this top right here on Andy is the same as this top right here on Ethereum. This top right here on Andy is the same as this top right here on Ethereum. This bottom on Andy is the same as this bottom on Ethereum. It's all the exact same thing. And once Ethereum is rolling up the same way Pepe was going sideways, Andy is going. It's doing the exact same thing. Like Andy is doing the exact same thing. And you can even argue that it's not much of a sell off yet, but we could go a lot lower within Andy within this time period. You never know. I'm not gonna be mad if we do. Like I said, there's way more money in my pockets if that's the case. But we're going sideways while Ethereum is climbing. Now, once Ethereum falls down and all that money rotates, Andy's gonna do the same thing Pepe did, and we're gonna fly out of here. Hopefully reaching something somewhat like, looking at the fib levels, getting up here towards the 1618. What type of move would that be? Because that's the exact same thing that Pepe did. 20 something X. 20 something X to your money in like a 30, like 1 to 2 months time span once it actually flips. And in fact, since this is actually the actual bull market and Ethereum is actually in price discovery, rather than Pepe, Ethereum got stopped before it even touched its previous all-time high, we're actually going to be in price discovery. And so it could be even higher. It could be even higher. We can go all the way up to the 2618. And like I said, this is all just price prediction and having fun when it comes to it at this point. But we can come all the way up here and do a potential 175x to your money. Potentially. Potentially. These levels are up here for reasons because they get touched, they get hit. So there's a potential. Like I said, once you go down the risk curve, you make way more freaking money. It's way better than any Roth IRA or anything because you got data and everything right here to back up exactly what's being said and how the money is actually flowing. You see that Andy, Pepe, Doge, Ethereum all follows Bitcoin and whatever Bitcoin allows it to do. Once Bitcoin gives that green light, Ethereum get the green light, higher caps get the green light, and you just keep going down the curve like that. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go ahead and pull this pull up right here. We're gonna look at the path to alt season. It's a chart. Path to alt season. Let's look at it. Let's look at it. So you can understand exactly what's being said to you. It's not rocket science, honestly. If you know how a snowball rolls down the hill and collects more snow and keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, it's the exact same concept. Dang, it doesn't get bigger. Well, if that's the case, I might as well just pull it up right here. I can't find it off the top of my head, so you know what? We just gonna put it down there. Whatever. It's a new computer. I'm really trying to figure out how this thing operates. And I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Like it's making it small. My other one used to make a big screen of the picture. But how about this? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. You can see phase one, Bitcoin rotates down. Phase two, Ethereum rotates down. Phase three, large caps rotate down. Alt season. That's the path to alt season. That was very annoying to have to do, but I had to get the point across to y'all, man. That's what we're waiting on, and that's pretty much that's where we're at. That's where we at. Money is about to get made. It's a little bit of patience. Go ahead and lock in. Hit me up on Discord. So you can get them prime picks and get some good buy-in entries, and I can really show you how it is. So you can be capitalizing on this money. But I'm gonna holla at y'all. We're gonna have us a nice night. Remember to like, share, and follow, and let's get this money, y'all.